It's time to get business out of the way and call upon our next set of leaders who indeed tell the world that they mean business. They embody the spirit that diversity is not just inclusion, it's innovation, inspiration, as well as intelligent growth. Let's also hear from women shaping the boardrooms, the skies, as well as the stories. Please welcome on stage Claudia Pinto, Head of Philanthropy and Sustainability, Advisor to His Highness Sheikh Marwan bin Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. Shalini Pasi, reality TV star and philanthropist. Also Somdatta Singh, founder, Acitus Global. Her Excellency Leila Rahal El Atfani, President, Women Business Circle. And to moderate this session, I request Mr. Karthikeya Sharma to join us back here on stage.
A very warm welcome to all of you, and it's indeed a pleasure to have such achievers on stage at a single point of time who have created wealth, created legacies, and made their own mark in this world. But then, you know, when we talk about DAI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusivity, there are things which I would like to put on board before we start our conversation. The McKinsey report, for example, of 23, 19, if I recollect it, 15 also very clearly states that if you have a very diverse company in terms of people, it's 39% likely to do better than other companies in context of diversity. And if you have more women in decision-making loop, it's 30% more likely to do better. Harvard Business Review says that if you have a diverse team, it's 70% more likely to capture new markets. So having women and people from diverse backgrounds at the center of decision-making is good business. It's not a social statement. It proves that diversity in business, diversity in governance, diversity in organization goes a long way in creating healthy environment because it creates better views, nuanced views. I'll start with Your Excellency.
Thank you.
You know, what is your, first of all, definition of inclusivity? Because, you know, when we talk about inclusivity, there are 200 nationalities in UAE. I mean, so this country has a ministry of tolerance. This country has a ministry of possibilities. It passed a law very recently that in joint stock private company, they have to reserve a place for women on the board. You know, these are the decisions which this country has taken, which is very, very progressive. So how do you define inclusivity? Because it has three sections: diversity, equity, and inclusivity.
Well, first of all, thank you for this panel. Thank you to News Media and to all the sponsors. Thank you to you, to our audience. It's a great pleasure to be with you. And when we talk about inclusivity, we are in it. This is what we are in. Today, with this diversity and inclusion and humanity and tolerance, the world is being small island, like I say. We are together for the best. There is no I, there is we. And if we uplift together and we build together and we never forgot that currency of humanity and tolerance and diversity, that's to build the society. And one of the goals of UAE government, and not only also India and the globe, is to make a unity of the humanity, empowering the children, empowering the women for better skills and uplifting the economy, bridging the culture and economy, putting all that in one pot. It's called humanity. That for me is exclusivity.
Claudia, how has UAE championed diversity, equity, inclusivity,
Sorry,
And do you think that the growth which the country has seen is also a result of its multicultural policies?
I can't hear you perfectly, your question, because it's echo. But it's about diversity. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for the invitation. So we are, what can I say, as the Head of Philanthropy and Sustainability Advisor of His Highness Sheikh Marwan bin Rashid Al Maktoum, and work direct also with His Highness Sheikh Mohammed in the White Cares. So we are on the right place in the world to speak about diversity, about respect, about tolerance. So as no better country to start something in life, can be a business, can be change the family, change house. So it is the right country. And we are on the right moment as we are building and joining forces to build the most sustainable city in the world. And for that, we have to build the most happiest city in the world, where we need holistic approach, education and well-being, where community all together have the power to build.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, let's make it about your experiences, huh? And then
Sure.
I'll come to both of you. So you are a founder, you are an achiever. What barriers did you face when you were climbing up the ladder? Were they different from men around you? Did you have to work doubly hard?
You know, first of all, good afternoon, everyone. It's an absolute pleasure to be here and with such a coveted panel. And that just shows that this region, because you talked about it before, has been a big advocate of skill-based opportunity. I think they don't see gender as a man or a woman. They see opportunity to be equal. And I grew up in a family, and I'm going to take that question for you asked me. I grew up in a family where my granddad taught me Strihi Brahma Bahuvit, which means the first stotram of Rig Veda starts with saying, woman, you're the ultimate source of enlightenment, thou enlighten us. So when enlightenment is there in our culture, I think what it means for women is that, can I take this opportunity to convert it into something which will build a legacy? Because you quoted McKinsey and Harvard Business School, and there's a lot of Harvardians here, you know, myself included. One of the things about is, though we are 50% of world's population, we're only 2% women who are entrepreneurs or doing business. It's not the challenge that we don't get the opportunity. It is more about, do we as women feel that we can do it all? Sometimes it is the nuance that we don't have to do it all. It's okay to ask for help, right? I have a husband who's a lawyer who also cooks, right? That doesn't make me any less. It just makes me aware that what I'm good at, and I focus on that. So is it easy? I think it's equally hard for both men and women. Why do I do it? Because if I can do it, anyone can. You know, I come from a family of doctors where no one in the history of my family has been an entrepreneur. And I built 3 businesses. My first when I was at MIT, my second that got acquired, and now the third, which is almost $1 billion company. And the most important thing is, this has enabled me to invest in other women. So I have a family office out of ADGM. And again, I love this region for that because it gives opportunity to set up family offices so easily. We've done 78 investments. And guess what our thesis is? We will only invest in companies where the women at least has 30% of the equity, not 5%. So the goal is, am I advocating equity or am I advocating empowerment? Empowerment is...
What about equality?
There is no equality between genders. It can't be. Biologically not possible, socially, economically not possible. There's a reason to it. And I'll tell this. Have you ever wondered why the best chef of the world are men and the best economists and bankers of the world are women? Women are naturally good with money. Men are naturally good in kitchen. However, the society made men feel that you have to be the torchbearer of the family, so forget everything else. So we are changing the game a little bit. It is about equity. If you're good at something, do it irrespective of the profession, but give it your all. And, you know, somebody was quoting Swami Vivekananda, and then I say, you know, take a risk in life. If you win, you'll lead. If you fail, you'll guide.
But you see, Shalini, hard structures of power, whether they're businesses or government or even armed institutions or reforms have taken place, DEI has been a tough concept to introduce. And in many countries, it has been in retreat. And culturally, there are glass ceilings. America may be the most progressive society, but it has failed to elect a woman president, you know.
Yes.
It's really impossible.
Absolutely. So I think in India, my take would be obviously from the art world and maybe from the fashion world. India is a very diverse country, as we all know. And I think when we go out and we, try to, if we are doing a project, we don't really think in terms of, we have to only employ men or women. We look for the best candidates. But those times are now gone. Women have been marginalized, and there have been communities who have been marginalized, and we need to take that into account now. And it's fine that it's happened for kids now but the buzzword now is this, what we are talking on. And it's mostly the corporates which are doing that. At our level in the art world, if you take, say, an art gallery or a museum or an auction house like Christie's, Saffron, or Sotheby's, there are very large number of women employees. And somehow I think it's more, art world is little more diverse. But coming back to what...
I'm interrupting you.
Yeah.
To have large number of women employees is one thing. To have large number of women artists is another thing.
So
my question to you is, are these art institutions, because they are not open institutions, you don't get elected to art institutions,
so
are they inclusive enough? Do you think that they have been diverse enough?
So, of course, for centuries, women artists have been marginalized, and what women created was considered craft. So whatever women could do, say weave carpet or even embroidery, was considered craft and not art.
Okay.
Right? So we had an artist like who would actually weave from the hemp, and now her works are in museums all around the world. And it was difficult for her to even be allowed her work to be considered art, because now we have bridged that gap. In India and in worldwide, the art world is encouraging women artists to take part in shows, and they're helping them with museum shows and stuff like that. The Venice Biennale, which was 3 years ago, was just focused on women artists, largely focused on women artists. So the art world is trying, and I think in India, I think it's not just communities which were marginalized. I think the women, which and then we need a lot of allowances for that. So that is happening, but not at this scale.
Okay, Your Excellency, you wanted to come in, then I'll come to you soon. You wanted to come in?
I just want to say, apologize what I'm going to say first. We take a trend for empowering the women and giving them red carpet. They deserve it. But lately it's become slogan and trend. And like she said, it's become crowd. The empowerment and purpose, they start the United Nations to put the women in spot because they deserve it as they are in marketing, in mindset, in resilience, in wellness, and boosting other women to start up the business and giving them that initiative. The world starts with Adam, not with Eve. We have to be equal. I'm sorry, we have an equality, gender equality here. Yes, there is some areas which male dominant, which is normal because of health power. But the women is taking too much power on the men. I think we have enough empowered women. It's time to empower the gentlemen.
Are you saying that there's a cultural lens to gender equality? I mean, to say differs from culture to culture. That's the point you are trying to make?
Yes.
Do you agree to that, Claudia? You traverse two worlds.
2 minutes.
Yes.
I will use less than that.
I think...
So,
let Claudia.
So, when we speak about women's and men's, so we just have to, and this country it's unique and grateful and amazing on that, you just have to follow the leader. So the ruler of this country mentioned we must have to empower the women because they are not less than miracles. And when we empower women, we empower the whole community, men's and women's. This is not about gender. It is about inclusion. So men's are welcome. And when we mention empower women in Dubai, we mention empower the whole society, as mentioned Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. Just follow the leader, and we are on the track. Thank you.
Let me share the Indian experience, because then I'm going to talk about the retreat of DI in countries where it was introduced and the sort of impact it will have in other countries, if it has. In India, the governments in India have followed the policies of educating women, mothers.
Yep.
You educate a mother, you ensure that the child gets educated. If you feed the mother properly, you ensure that the children are fed properly. So in terms of diverting your, or even Ladli Behna, this is an election-related scheme, but when I was having a conversation with Mr. Bhandari yesterday, he actually shared a very fine point with me. It's like sometimes technology does not allow the benefits to trickle down immediately, but when you pass that benefit in one go, it helps the women, it empowers it. But then diversity, equity, inclusivity is also about races. Gender is one component of it. So my question to you is, and you can answer that, do you think that DEI is becoming a casualty, since you have stayed and worked there in America, of politics of wokeism and the nativist streak which has emerged in the United States of America? Do you it's becoming a casualty of that?
100%. With what His Excellency and Claudia talked about, let me clarify something. If you are getting a job...
You can use the word Donald Trump,
Yeah. So if you're going to get a job, if there are two engineers, a man and a woman, if you're going to get a job, it should be based on who is good at the job they're basically applying for. That is very critical. And there is where equity and intelligence, your emotional intelligence, your communication, your leadership, your vision, and your ability to execute comes into the picture. That is what makes you a qualified individual. Now, how do you empower the creator? A man is born out of a woman's womb. So woman, the word woman actually means a womb plus a man. That's not to woo a man, but to a womb plus a man. So that's the power. So you can't empower a creator. What you can do is you can respect, allow the creator to foster and give them an opportunity. Therefore, I think the word feminism is woke. Because most of the times it's advocating for something that doesn't have a desired result. And I'll bring in something that Shalini talked about. I'm an avid art collector and I love the paintings by Madhavi Parekh. But guess what? Madhavi's painting gets less valued compared to a Parish Maiti. Right? Why? Because she's a woman. Because other women like us don't buy. If we really have to build equality, women should have our own cohesive community to drive each other, to uplift each other, to ensure that if we get an opportunity to advocate for another person as an individual based on their skills, we give preference to the community. And it is woke, because I lived in US, let me tell you, it's the most racist country in this world. UAE is the most diverse, equity-friendly, opportunity-friendly country in this world. I have been living here for 5 years. I moved from New York because guess what? In New York, sometimes I was called Spanish, go back to your country, even though I went to MIT and Howard, right? This country, you know what it has done to me? I have investors from this country. I've been asked to go IPO in this country. The government opens its doors, and even India doesn't do that. Says, come, tell me what we can do to help you. I have never seen a country this forward, which they have built in 25 years. US is nowhere close to that. US is going backwards, UAE is going forward. This U is more powerful than that.
Let's talk business. So let me get the component of business.
Can I add something? I think lately we have to build the entrepreneur leadership. We have to build the women who can go, work, handle, uplift. And we have a role model in UAE. Yes, we have even the youth startup. We are a role model for financial freedom. But the diversity which you are talking about, we have to build the women entrepreneur and youth entrepreneur and start that from the school and take care of those marvel moms who educate them children and did not have chance to be leadership. Thank you.
Okay, let me ask this question. It's an open question to all of you. because and I said this when I started, that diversity, inclusivity, equity works very well in businesses if you have it in right way.
True.
Now, Indira Gandhi,
Yeah.
Sheikh Hasina,
Yeah.
Margaret Thatcher,
Yeah.
Golda Meir,
Yeah.
women leaders, Marie Curie, solid leaders, powerful leaders. Do you think that when women are in the lead role of leadership, within the cooperation of country, do they behave differently from men?
100%.
I think women are obviously much more, when they're given opportunity, they give their 110%.
Even as head of cooperations, for example,
because
when Indra Nooyi was running,
for them, what has happened is
was she
now
behaving differently from any other
they
CEO?
want to prove.
Head of operations. So 8 months ago, the law, it comes a law from the government. All the companies, they must have to hire on the top of the companies, they need to have at least 2 women. And from September, they will go see who they really have at least 2 women on the top of the corporations. Otherwise, they will get fined. So it's a way of start.
Chaldi, you can conclude your point.
Yes, women, of course, also they bring sensitivity. They take their job extremely seriously because they feel that, they have got this opportunity and they need to prove themselves. So also they are probably more honest and they're more compassionate with their work and they bring a different understanding to the whole job. That's what my...
Do you agree with that?
I think the way you talk about it makes me, look at it from 3 different spectrums. I'm going to talk about it. The diversity, inclusivity, and equity from a political standpoint is just advocacy unless it has execution. From a business standpoint, it is about skills. Like I'm a woman founder, I'm a solo founder. I have a bunch of men that are in my board, right? And I say this, behind every successful woman, there are many men if you get the right people to support you.
How many women do you have in your board?
I have only 1 woman in my board.
And men?
And there are 6 men. But the 2 women, the founder and the board member, are enough. Okay. Sometimes it is not the number that matters. The value is about what they contribute. I have 67% women in my warehouse. Guess what? People used to think somebody working in a warehouse is a man's job, right? To pick, pack, handle orders and ship it. I have women doing it. They do it more efficiently. And like Shalini said, the emotional intelligence in us is comparatively higher. You know why? Because of 2 X chromosomes. Men have X and Y. The XX, which gives you the power to create, makes you a natural nurturer.
So is DAI about thought process or just representation of people of color or people of race or gender?
It is thoughts. It starts with you believing in something, only then
Thought
it's real.
process?
Yes.
100%.
Process.
I think
Thought process?
It's a
100%.
thought process which translates into action. It cannot just remain with
women
you.
can be as patriarchal as men.
I am very biased, in fact, to women. I have 90% women workforce. I'm actually the other way. I'm very
90%?
My son says that you don't like men. I said, yeah.
Karthikeyan, think about this.
It's actually the other way around
The east
for
of India, right, is a matriarchal society. The east of India, right? The 7 sisters. Guess what happens there? The man comes to... Actually, the girl will not leave the mom's house to go to the man's house to marry. It's the other way around. It's a very matriarchal society, right? So a woman is taken to be the leader of the family, and it's extremely matriarchal. It's there in UAE as well. If you see the grandmoms and all, very matriarchal. It starts with a thought, because unless you have something you believe in, if you're executing without the right intent, it is hollow. It will not last for long. If you just pretend, oh, I'm going to support women, I'm going to stand by you, but the execution is not there, then it's pretty much...
That's why we move from women empowerment to women power,
Absolutely.
women in business circle. The reason why, today, enough those mache picture coming at the front together, but what is the action taken? What is the benefit? What is the values, core value you put? And here also, I come back to the government of UAE. They are building the leaders and entrepreneur leadership and women in entrepreneurial. The Congress of Women, the last one we done about the women, it's not only figures, it's numbers. They are offering also a license with 1,070. You can start up from your home. I mean, the startup on women's leadership, it's not minimizing, it's making women as great leader, do her statistic, build her business, think about her financial freedom, and think about diversity, because they're doing a lot of exhibition. And one of the role model, Pinto, she's doing the same.
Then how do you, let me be the devil's advocate here, let me take a contrarian point of view. Then how do you balance excellence or expertise with representation?
So
it's just a position I have taken to elucidate a response.
So I'm a founder of the Empowering Women Middle East. It's a platform where we combine philanthropy with social entrepreneurship. And here we go for the ones they have companies, for the ones they want to achieve and be entrepreneurs. One of the most important, in my opinion, it's how you guide your people. How you guide the ones sit on the table and tell, I have this business, let me know how I have to scale this business. So I have to be prepared and know the KPIs of the country. I have to know the roadmap of the government to advise in the right way. So it's a really big responsibility when we tell we are entrepreneurs or we have a community A, B, C. We have to be aligned with the government. We have to be aligned with the right KPIs. Otherwise, we bring people, they can commit mistakes. They can fail easily, and they will not stay on their country. They will be frustrated. Doesn't matter if they are men's or women's. They look for the same. How I can succeed with my business. How I can implement my vision and mission into the dream of Dubai. And Dubai, yes, is a land where you drop your seeds and the seeds, they blow as we can feel in another place. So it's the right place if you want to be entrepreneur. It's the right place if you want have a dream. If you have a dream of have a company, build a community, but be very careful, pay attention with who is your advisor, who are there to advise you how to do. And I do believe this is the real point. We have all to understand, accept, and men's or women's, they will succeed when they follow the strategy of the environment where are merged in. So I do believe this is one of the most important points.
Okay, Shalini, let me take you home. Let me take you home. Is our entertainment industry diverse and inclusive enough?
Can I say something else? Just a very simple example. When we are in school and college, the women, our girls are doing better than the boys. School and college, they are topping. Very simple example. A friend's daughter said, I can't marry this boy because I'm from Harvard and he's from UCLA. Mom, how can I marry him? This is the state of our country. What happens to these brilliant women who are in school and college, doing better than the boys, getting into the best universities, doing all the best programs, excelling, and when they come back, and by the time, after 15 years, they have not climbed the corporate ladder. Where do these girls go?
So where does the barrier come?
That is what the barrier comes in the real world. In school and colleges, we are giving them the same teachers, same opportunities, same education. They fill the same form, they go to colleges, they excel internationally, they come back, and within 2, 3, 5, 10 years, all the awards are going to men. Everything. It's a handful. It's just a handful of women who actually remain there at the cost of sacrificing for everything. So that is the truth.
I do agree with that. And I'll tell you, because there is something called as the vision versus the reality. And that spectrum is still pretty broad. And I had to make certain decisions in life, right? For example, if you are going to you're going to get married, you're going to have a kid, and then you're going to take a break, you come back to the corporate life, things change. A mother is still the nurturer and is expected to do certain responsibilities, and that's because you took us back home. So I'm going to talk about back home. In US, it's pretty common to have a house husband. Indra Nooyi has a husband who takes care of the kids. He's never worked. Indra Nooyi used to work and her husband used to take care of the kids, and he's been open about it. But in our social construct, it's still not something that is acceptable. So if you see, there's a huge dropout. And I'll give you the statistics. At 23, you join an organization after an MBA. And at 27, 28, once you get married, you have your kid, there's a big dropout there that happens. That's where the challenge comes in when the corporate ladders get filled in by the next in line. And the next in line happens to be the man, right? That's pretty much it, right? So what Shalini is talking about is extremely common. And it's there in US as well, but you'll see a lot of the Indians going to US, that's the construct. Because they go as a dependent on H-1B, they don't end up getting a job and things change significantly. But there are a lot of changes that is happening. I have a lot of my colleagues and seniors who are here from Harvard who came in today. Their daughters and their kids have changed that construct. They're now taking the ownership. No, I'm going to either take over from my father, run the business, or start something, and I'm not going to stop, right? If I will build, I'll get a co-founder who can support me when I'm going into my maternity leave. So I think a few things needs to be seen differently. Being a mother is a power. It is not a curse. Having children is responsibility of both. There has to be equity in the household. Only then there can be equity in the corporate ladder.
I think there's equity in conversation is also required. For example, if you interview a woman candidate or if you have a man, you'll never ask the man, are you going to be father next year?
No, women do get asked.
Or are you recently married? Are you going to start a family? But those questions can be put to a woman. So it's part of a conversation. I'm really sorry. I have run short of time, and Shalini has given me third warning, so I have to heed to Shalini because she's the boss there. So on this note, okay, Your Excellency, a minute to you.
I think men and women, we are equal. We're born equal. And each one has a role in this society. There is no society without men or without women. I think no matter which title, which we are going to reach to the moon, we remain a woman and gentleman. My father is gentleman, my son gentleman, my husband gentleman. The one who's hosting this is gentleman. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, all of you. Actually, to you.
I think everybody has gotten habituated to the drill now. So can we have the beautiful hampers on stage? Also, since we spoke about women, how can we not have Mrs. Devleena Majumdar, our CHRO TV9 Network on stage? Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you so much for joining us here for the panel discussion. What an enlightening conversation. And since I know a lot of you have already heard a lot of panels here, and thank you so much. And you are also interested about some questions, you have some answers to yourselves as well. So I would like to hand over the mic to my colleague Nabila Jamal, present here, to now interact with the audiences as well. Let's hear in what's their favorite panel and what are the opinions that they have in their mind. Over to you, Nabila.
Yeah, thank you. I'm not going to get on stage. I want to do this a lot more impromptu because I have women seated here as audience. And I think to get to these real women, to understand how it works at home for them is what I want to capture here today. Let me go straight to three of the women who are seated very quietly, who observed this entire panel. We had many serious, in-depth conversations that we had with the women there where they spoke about how it's not a fight for equality, it's a fight for merit. Do you agree? What's the toughest part for you at home to wade through family and work, if you are?
Good afternoon to everyone. I think, like other issues that we always women speak about this, is not related to another special culture or special places. It's related to our family, how grows up our mothers and actually brought up and actually trained us about how do finish your work. Men or women, not difference. The talent is not related to the sexuality, I think. And this cliche about women can do this, or we never should actually prove that. Because we are women, we can do this or we can't do this. It's related to personality, I think.
Each one's talent matters. It's not about equality, it's about merit. Anything you want to say? Who's your biggest motivator? Is it a woman? Yes, no? You can say it in your language. Ma'am, who's your biggest motivator?
Yes, okay. Hello, good evening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Fairuza Sayed, and the biggest motivator is the best man who had been on earth. He is like our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. No, he isn't God. He was a human being on earth, and he was a person who guided humanity. In real life, honestly speaking, it is my way of life, which is through Islam. Well, my husband, he's my supporter, mashallah. Yeah, because I don't have another woman in the family. I just have one son, but I can give all the credit to my husband because, yes, I also believe that both men and women have to support each other.
Finally, husband came second after God. I'm glad. Okay, let me ask Devalina, who is with us at TV9 Network. Devalina, who's your biggest motivator? You know, women here, eloquent, spoke about how it's not the fight for equality here, it's fight for merit. You should know best. You interview so many women.
So I have a point here. This was a very, very informative and amazing session. I wish this could go on. But unfortunately, DEI is still about men and women. DEI is also beyond. It's time we look beyond men, women, equality, ratio, etc. and embrace DEI as a holistic purpose. Secondly, coming to my inspiration, my grandfather was my role model. I did not have my father. He raised me. And I don't feel that there needs to be this constant striving to beat a man or to be better than a man. Like somebody mentioned in the panel, there are gentlemen here in our family too. And DEI should be beyond. That's all I can say. Also, very interesting concept on this and discussion on equity, because equity is the most important aspect of DEI rather, and I think it came up beautifully in this panel. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Okay, I'd like to ask Claudia, I know you said what you said on stage. Would you want to say who's the biggest motivator, your biggest strength? Is it a woman or is it a man?
It's a man. My father, yes. Yes. So, and my mother, she's amazing as well, but my father is the one I grow with how to connect philanthropy with social entrepreneurship. So how you can create social profit on the financial way, or through the financial way, you can create social profit. So it's my father, my inspiration. Yes, my everything.
You're everything. So nice to hear. You know, one thing about women is women juggle so much. Shalini, I'll come to you too. Women juggle so much as all the women want to thrive, want to become successful. At the same time, they keep a family and a home going. You know, and that's what's amazing about a woman, because women are inherent nurturers. I would want to ask you, how do you juggle? How do you juggle with ease? Are you okay doing it, or do you want to break sometimes?
Well, all the women want to break as they're beautiful and you're queen, each one queen in her circle, and each one have to break something. But I don't want to break the humanity touch. I want the strength. Each woman have strength, have her beauty. No woman is not beautiful. She has something special. That's why she get a husband. But she need to break ceiling always. Thank you.
Shalini, but I'll take you on your own answer. But before that, Shalini, women today, if you do, you're damned. If you don't, it's all right. If you do, it's all right. They say that, well, she's a career woman, good for her. But if you don't also, it's okay, They're like, yeah, that's what women are expected to be. Do you believe a pro or a con?
Honestly, you have one life, whether you're a man or a woman, or you have to live it. And for me, I honestly believe that if you've been given a human birth, and if you're not, you have to live to your fullest. You have to do your duties, like we say, you have to do your karma. You're born in a certain place, in a certain country, and you have to do what you have to do. What I left out on the panel was, I wanted to say that a lot of countries, they say we are an aging population, they don't have children, because they are not giving initiatives for women to have children. So women are like, sorry, I have no respect in society. I have nothing to do. When my children are older, I am neglected. So they don't want to have children, and they are doing and they are becoming working women. And because there is no incentive, especially countries, I don't want to name the countries, they are an aging population. So those countries especially need to look into this issue.
Okay, make the environment more conducive for women to have a family and have a career. That's possibly going to be the best. Finally, lovely women here, would you want to give us your take on being a career woman? Who's the biggest motivator for you, a woman or a man?
Definitely a woman. A woman, absolutely.
Tell me a little more about your bond with other women. First of all, there's this conception that women never encourage other women. Is that changing today?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. I think women are the biggest motivators for all women out there, especially when it comes to startup brands and that, especially with the inception of social media taking over where we are. I think there's no better motivation for women than, your own friends, your sisters, your cousins. I think the biggest hype squad we have are women today. Absolutely, yeah, 100%.
All right, more power to you women. Thank you very much, all of you. You all should pat yourself on the back for nurturing your family, pursuing your career, being the homemaker if at all, but just being a rock star on your own. Thank you. Thank you, Sakshi.